Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Gukarastvandhakaro Vai Rukarastanivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvad Gururitya Vidiyate. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Guru Paramparam. Verse number 1, page 6. Vedo nityam adhiyatam tadunitam karma svanushthiyatam tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitehi kamye matistyajyatam papaugah paridhuyatam bhavasukhe dosho nusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagruhad turnam vinirgamyatam. Atmecha vyavasiyata. Atmecha, the desire for Atma, meaning desire for the self-knowledge. Vyavasiyata, may there arise in your mind a conviction about the desire for self-knowledge, meaning that let that desire now become the most important desire. Hopefully the only desire, because that is truly the desire behind all the desires. If you analyze the nature of various desires that occur in our mind, we see that each desire ultimately is desire for happiness or freedom, and that too unconditional happiness or freedom. That's what we desire, whether it works or not, whether the desire is fulfilled or not, but this is what our urge is. The basic urge in the heart of the human being is to be free, happy, unconditionally. Inasmuch as that happiness or freedom happens to be our nature, therefore life now began with that understanding. Life should become a process of accomplishing what is already accomplished, like the 10th man. And just as the 10th man can be accomplished by the knowledge of 10th man, because he's the one who is searching for is already the 10th man, so also the one who is searching for the happiness is happiness. There is a denial of what I truly am is because of ignorance. Just as ignorance denies, thoda awaaz mota karo bhai. Ignorance denies the 10th man of the benefit of his being 10th man and creates in him a delusion that I am different from 10th man and takes him for a ride in search of a 10th man. So human being is searching for happiness and freedom everywhere in the world, not looking for where it is. So we are looking for it everywhere. Like this thief who was once traveling with a very wealthy person many years ago in India, from Madras to Delhi, in a first-class coupe compartment, where this very rich person from Madras, now Chennai, was traveling, and the passenger in the same coupe compartment also looked a very decent fellow, but was a thief from Delhi, who had known that this man was traveling with a lot of cash, and that he had managed to get the booking of a ticket in the same coupe compartment with a very specific intention of stealing away his money. So as the train moves on and as they're traveling, this rich man has a big briefcase. He opens his briefcase. So they are both sitting on the same berth during the day. At night, one sleeps below and other sleeps above. And so this businessman opens his briefcase in such a manner that the lid of the briefcase will hide what is happening behind, so the other passenger cannot see what is happening. But that fellow is very sharp and looking at it through the corner of his eyes and sees that, oh, this businessman is counting the bundles of cash. Then he knows where is this material stuff, what he's looking for. And so he's all set. At night when both of them go to sleep, and this fellow, the businessman, is sleeping on the lower berth, this famous thief is on the upper berth. When he hears the sound of, sound sleep, or sleeping with sound, he's snoring. Swami is sleeping with sound, But sound sleep is sleeping with sound. Then he quietly comes down, takes out that briefcase. He has all kinds of keys with him, opens it, but doesn't find any money in there. Surprise, I saw it, this fellow counting the money, it was in this briefcase. Maybe he shifted to another bag, so he opened another baggage also. Could not find the money, disappointed. Went back to his seat. Next morning again, those days train would take a long time. In the afternoon again, this businessman opens his briefcase. And this fellow sees him counting the bundles of cash. So, oh, he has them. So where is he hiding? Tonight I'll make sure that I find it. So next night then he not only looks at all his baggage, he looks at his person also, whether he is carrying it with him under the bed sheet. Next night also he doesn't find that. Disappointed, goes back to his berth. Next morning, now the station is arriving soon. And this businessman, to his great surprise, again opens his briefcase and is counting those bundles. This thief is just amazed. And he saluted him, said, I am a famous thief from Delhi, but you are my guru. I don't want your money, but I just want to know where were you hiding this money? I looked for that money everywhere, I could not find it. Where were you hiding? It's under your pillow. Looks for it everywhere, not where it is. And so human being looks for happiness everywhere, not where it is. And when the right frame of mind, when the mind becomes sattvic, free from these impurities of raga dvesha, essentially free, then this insight comes that what I am looking for is to be found with myself. That's how the desire for the self-knowledge arises. Vivasiyata, make it firm. Recognize that that is a desire behind all the desires. And that you will become free from desires only when this desire is fulfilled. Desire for knowledge also is a desire. Question is like any other desire. What's the difference? The only difference is this desire can be fulfilled when you gain the knowledge. Other desires appear to be fulfilled except that they give rise to other desires. Atmecha vivasiyatam. Now your agenda is very clear, priorities are very clear. That what you are seeking is self-knowledge. Now then you can change the mode of your life. And the life becomes conducive to making this desire firm. So desire for self has arisen, but then we have to make that spark into a flame. And for that, the mind needs a conducive environment. Therefore, the instruction given in the last part of the fourth line, Nijagruhat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. Once you find that you are very clear that what you want in life is the self-knowledge, if that is clear to you, then Nijagruhat Turnam Vinirgamya. Turnam, immediately, quickly. Vinirgamyata, may you leave Nijagruhat from your own home. So as we said last night, now the teacher is prescribing the life of Vanaprastha like a forest dweller. From householder now, before we transition to sannyasa or renunciation, there is in between phase which is the life of a forest dweller, where Vanaprastha, he leaves the home. Traditionally, when a person now has fulfilled all the responsibilities, this head of the household hands over all the responsibilities to his son, leaves home, goes to forest and lives in the forest. His wife may or may not accompany him. There is a choice there. Sometimes both of them go there, or if she prefers to stay home, he goes away. So then idea is to place yourself in an environment which is very conducive for encouraging as well as strengthening this desire for self-knowledge. Like a sapling which is planted needs to be protected. At least in a place like India, you must protect it from the animals like the sheep and the goats that are all passing by. From the attack of these animals, you must create a fencing around that. Here also, I guess, you require to protect your things from deer and rabbits and things like that. There we have goats and sheep that oblige us, are passing by. So we must protect that as well as nourish it by providing the right water, fertilizer, right soil. And that's how that sprout slowly grows into a tree. Or like a little spark that has to be received and converted into a flame. Some of you may have seen how they create a flame for performance of the yajna fire rituals. Is the rub that's called, there is a lower block, wooden block, upper wooden block, there is a rod in between, and they churn this rod and the spark is created. The spark is received on a cotton wool and then it slowly becomes flame. Similarly, this spark of the desire must now be turned into a flame by giving it the right environment. So first of all, now leave the wrong environment. Wrong means now living in home is not a conducive environment for this person. Not because people in the home are giving him a hard time, etc. That may be a different matter. But even if the environment in the home is conducive, then also as long as the person is in home, he is duty bound. You have to belong to one or the other stages of life in Vedic times. You can't be hanging in between. Are you a brahmachari or a grihastha or a vanaprastha or a sannyas? Because in every stage of life there are duties to be performed. You can't say, I don't belong to any stage. Then, that's not acceptable. So if he lives at home, he is a householder, then he is required to fulfill the needs of a house, perform the duties. Because you are in a setup from which you are receiving the support. That's the setup of home, a family is supporting you. And so you have to contribute. That's called duty. I cannot be taking advantage and then not returning the favor. That is not acceptable. Lord Krishna says, Tair dattana pradayebhya yo bhungtes ten eva sa. One who keeps on receiving the favor without returning the favor is a thief, moral thief, which you cannot be. And performing this duty is all time consuming. It takes away all your time and energy, leaves no time really to dedicate yourself to study and contemplation. And so the advice here is you leave home so that you have no responsibility. And you have no privilege also, of course. Where do you go? You go to forest, a place like that, where there is a conducive environment. This is well said as far as that time was concerned. Who will go? Where shall I go, Swamiji? Leave home means what? Then where do I go? What forest you are talking about? So that is no more practical these days. There are no forests left in India anyway. There are no places left in there. All we can say is that in our home itself we can create an environment of a vanaprastha, of a retired person. So who is a vanaprastha? One who does not have any duties or responsibilities of a householder. He has the duties of a vanaprastha, all right, but not of a householder. The primary focus of a vanaprastha or a forest dweller is tapas, is austerity, penance, prayers, meditation. This is what they primarily do. The Vedas can be looked upon as consisting of 4 broad sections: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. Samhita for the brahmacharis, Brahmana for the grihastha, Aranyaka means the meditation practices to be performed in Aranya or forest. So a forest dweller basically performs prayers and meditations. When he was at home, he was regularly required to perform the Agnihotra karma and make offerings to devatas. In the forest, he doesn't have any resources now, So whatever rituals he performed at home, he now performs mentally. Manasa puja upasana. Upasana means mental worship of Ishvara. So worship is always there. For brahmachari also worship is there by way of studying and repeating the Vedas. For grihastha, worship is there by way of making offering to devatas, to pitrus, to all the different elements of the universe. That is his worship. For vanprastha now, worship is turned to mental worship. Thus we have a number of upasanas, or meditations. What is meditation? Nothing but worshipping Ishvara mentally. This meditation is described as Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. Saguna Brahma Vishayaka Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. Maintaining a thought flow of mind, which the subject matter is Ishvara, with attributes, accompanied with his regular fasting. And so, forest life is life of austerities and penance. The forest dwellers also were permitted to go for bhiksha, by the way. They also were permitted if they wanted to. But what we can do here is, in our home we can create an environment like this for ourselves. But what is meant by living home is to keep our mind free from the influences of home. And two kinds of influences are there. One is, I said, when we are in home, then we are duty bound. So duty is one thing that occupies our mind. And duty is such a thing that if I fail to perform my duty, it creates in me a sense of guilt. Therefore, number one, duty is to be given. I stay in home all right, but then I don't make any demands upon the people. They don't. At the same time, I have no duty also. So this is duty. And second is this attachment. When you stay in the midst of things, then there is bound to be an attachment. The grandfather is always worried about the grandchild. Did he come back from school? So worrying about the family members. This is all bound to be there when you are staying home. And then did you close all the lights? Did you close all the doors? All these kind of concerns are always going to be there because there is an attachment to the things. Attachment to home, attachment to the family, attachment to children, grandchildren, whoever they are. Attachment to carpets, attachment to furniture, attachment to so many things. And these attachments also take away, they also pull the mind away from you and make the mind engaged in the thoughts of those things. So the idea of duty also pulls away my mind and keeps it busy with what is to be done and what I am required to do. The attachment also is something that pulls away my mind and keeps it engaged in those I am concerned about. So that is why staying in home is not very conducive for study and contemplation. Because there are going to be these kind of mental preoccupations. So what is meant by living home is becoming free from these preoccupations. That means become free from attachment. Now give all keys and all control to the children. In the olden days, the daughter-in-law comes now after the son is married. Then the mother-in-law is supposed to hand over all the things to her, but she doesn't. All the keys are kept with her. And daughter-in-law is to ask for every little thing. You want for rice, this, that. She opens the store and then gives her. And then so she retains the control. The father also, I am retired, but still he maintains all the control of the business. He may go for 2-3 hours, but all control he maintains. So that you have to let go of these things. The need to control, the need to own, the need to possess, the need to protect, which is what keep the mind in samsara. What is meant by giving up home is giving up all these things. So that even staying home also, we can enjoy relatively a mind which is relatively free from these few occupations. The idea is to enable a person to now study and contemplate and meditate and pray. Next life is life of prayers and meditation. And for that it is necessary to give them what we call the leisure of the mind. And so giving up home or leaving the home means become free from the duties and responsibilities. Give them up. No, but what, Swami, my son is and my daughter, let them do what, but they won't do it proper. That's their business. So you are concerned, that he's not Swami, not yet grown up enough, not mature. I think father always thinks that the children are never grown up. So they never allow them to grow up also. But we have to let go from our own mind. This need to control, need to possess, and need to protect, all of these have to be given up. So, in the present time, this is the closest to leaving the home. That give your children and the family, everybody, the freedom. In India, with the extended family, where the parents also live with their children, but it doesn't work out too well because they don't give freedom. They keep interfering in their life. They want the children to ask them what is to be done, what is not to be done, and keep on asking, why do you do this, why do you not do that, etc. Let's give them the freedom, and you enjoy the freedom. So if they don't want to bother about me, that's good. Let them not bother about it. Don't even write to me. Don't call me. Don't do this. Leave them alone. Our Swami used to say, so people complain. People come and complain to Swami. He says, not that they don't care for you, not that they don't love you. They don't have time now. They're too busy in their life. That doesn't mean they don't love you. They don't have time to call you. And what calling, and then what? Even after calling also, then what? How are you? There's nothing much to talk about. Depends. I find that, some people talk so much. These people, the mother is in India and the daughter is here, and every day they talk on some FaceTime and this time and, for at least 2 hours a day. So what do you talk for 2 hours? For 1 month? In 1 month I would not have enough material to talk for 2 hours every day. So you got this time, and then I have brushed my teeth, and then I made my everything. And what is they talk about? This is what they talk about. Then I had this subject today, and then I cut it this way, and I got injured, and then I do this, and everything, each one relates to the other. And that's how they spend 2-3 hours, nothing else to do in India. Children don't have this kind of time, and so don't expect them to talk to you every day. That doesn't mean that they don't have value for you, they don't care for you, they do. It's best to believe that way anyway. It's safe to do that. Keeps you comfortable, otherwise you feel miserable. Meaning that a stage has to come, a transition has to come. That from the life of householder, when we were completely engrossed in it or entrenched in it, we slowly extricate ourselves mentally. Physical separation also may not necessarily mean mental separation, because after going there also you keep on calling every day. So did you do this, and then did you call that person, and did you write this, and you can keep on being bothered about things. Just let go. And this retirement cannot come overnight. One has to prepare for it. So you have to plan. After 10 years, now I'm going to retire. Meaning I'm going to leave home mentally. It takes 10 years of preparation. Because after you retire, what do you do? All right now, so I'm not worried. I'm staying in my room. But what do? I get fed up. I get bored. Meaning that we have to have cultivated an alternate interest. that this person now has now developed interest in the self-knowledge, in study of the scriptures and prayers and meditations. So his interest has changed. And from an extrovert person now he has become an introvert person. Then only it is possible that even if he stays in his own dhala, the family members suppose facilitate, oh, you stay in your room, we'll take care of you. And we'll serve you food there also. Which is great, provided he has the leisure of the mind to stay in his room. It's not easy. And that requires preparation. That he must have developed joy or love for Vedanta, for study, for prayers. And he should have been doing for at least 10 years to slowly slide into this. So this is the life of retirement. Nijagruhat Turanam. Even though you may physically stay in the home, but then it is necessary now that you have to transition from the life of a householder to the life of a person whose main now occupation is meditation, prayers, puja, etc. And further now, we go to the next verse where this same thought continues. What should you do? Having now left the home, or having now made yourself free from the preoccupation of the home, how should you occupy your mind? So let's see, and let us read the next verse. Sangat satsu vidhiyatam Bhagavato Bhaktir Drudhadhiyatam Shantyadif Parichiyatam Drudataram Karmasu Santyajyatam Sadvidvanupasrupyatam Pratidinam Tatpaduka Sevyatam Brahmaikaksharamartyatam Shrutishiru Vakyam Samakaryatam. Sangha Satsu Vidhyatam. Satsu, with people who are Sat, means Sat Purusha, Sadhu Purusha, good people, learned people, holy people. Santa, Sat means Sat Purusha means a holy person. He may not necessarily be a sannyasi, but a person who is holy. Who is a bhakta or devotee of the Lord, who is a learned person, meaning that who can be our role model. So now we should disassociate from the home and family and relatives and all that worldly life, and slowly associate ourselves with the learned people, with saintly people, with good people, from whose association we will learn and grow. So next stage of growth, you can see this is beautifully what this little 5 verses outline the journey of a seeker from stage 1, how slowly transformation takes place in the mind of this person. By deliberately or living intelligently the life of the right attitudes and values, and how the transition slowly happens. So now that you have made yourself free from the association with the home, meaning with the worldly life, even though physically you may choose to stay there, with the consent of the family, of course. Their support is very important, otherwise If you are around, then they always say, will you please get this and do it. So they will always engage in some activity. When you are around, then they always are inspired. At home also, I remember once vacation comes, mother says, okay, please go and get fetch milk, go and get this, go and get yogurt. Because you are around, and therefore they are inspired to keep you engaged in some activities. Similarly, when you are home, people will always think of using you, and because they need help. Hopefully, the family members also spare you, meaning that they have value for you. The reason why we do not get cooperation from others is because we have not earned the respect. And therefore, they do not value what I value. If we have earned the respect, then they value me, in which case they also will value what I value. Then it's okay, we should give him his space now. Because they respect me, therefore they are willingly ready to give me my space and support me. That so far I supported them, now they support me. And give me the space. That's an ideal thing. But when we do not get support, Swamiji, no support from my spouse, no support from this, then maybe that's what they are, of course. At the same time, perhaps in building our relationship with these people, we have not paid attention to earn their respect. However, we have somehow lost respect from them. Even parents sometimes lose respect of children. Because children always watch parents and then what they are doing, what they are not doing, what they say, and then a parent says something here and says something there, and this fellow is watching, this is not right, my mom is lying, my father is saying this, or you promise them and don't. So, when we take children for granted, don't treat them also as individuals who are intelligent and who also understand things. Don't give them respect. Teach them as those who don't care, don't matter, they don't understand. But they do in their own way. And then when we fail to live up to the expectation of our children, then we lose their respect. Then they don't care. Dad, okay, don't worry, I know what to do. In which case, they don't respect me, they don't respect what I respect, then they don't respect. Then ultimately sometimes they turn away from Swamis also because father likes this Swami, but father he doesn't respect a father or mother, so the poor Swami also loses respect. That's another problem. For no reason, I have not done anything there, but that fellow doesn't look at me, There, her relation with their parent also is important, because now they can associate Swami also with the parent. Anyway, that's by the way, and that's my difficulty I am telling you. But when we do not receive cooperation from others, maybe the others are what they are, but then it's possible that we have not paid attention to our relationship as we were going along in our life, to make sure that that relationship is one of mutual respect, that I've earned their respect. When they respect me, they respect what I stand for. Then they respect what I want to do, and they will also facilitate that. So then you try Sangha Satsu Vidiyatam. Now, next then, you associate yourself with the holy people, with saintly people, with learned people, people who just, because the association has an impact upon our mind. Our mind is impressionable mind still, meaning that we have not received that firmness within ourselves, that we can stand in spite of any kind of atmosphere. We are subject to being influenced by the atmosphere. And therefore, we should deliberately place ourselves in an environment where the mind receives conducive influence. So there is Sangha, Satsu, meaning that expose yourself to the company of good people, learned people, wise people, holy people. Basically, who is a person whose association we should cultivate is the one who creates in us a Shraddha or trust for Ishvara, for scriptures, and for Mahatmas. The one who creates in us a Shraddha of the faith and devotion for Ishvara, for scriptures, and for Mahatmas. Now that is the company we should keep. Otherwise, very often people in fact completely disturb us. So, from a class like this, you go out and there a friend is waiting. So, what did Swami say? What did Swami tell you? Oh, yes, Swami said, you are Brahman? You are Brahman? You know, so, in what I heard for 1 hour, in 2 minutes that fellow can just, because my mind being what it is, in 2 minutes he makes arguments and I get completely shaken up. So until I am very firm now, then you can have the liberty of perhaps associating with other people. But as long as our mind is subject to being influenced, then we should always have positive influence. That value is created for Vedanta, for Ishvara, for teachers, for Mahatmas, for scriptures. Sangha Satsu Vidiyadam. These people, these Sat Purushas or saintly people provide us they are the role model. There is the Saint Tulsidas in India who has written this Ramcharitmanas, a very famous text. There he compares the saints with a mobile center of pilgrim center, like a holy place, a mobile holy place. We have like Banaras is a holy place. Prayaga, what is Prayaga? Where there is a confluence of the 3 rivers, Ganga, Yamuna and then Saraswati. So Tulsidas compares the saints with, they describe as a mobile Prayaga, mobile Tirtha. Tirtha means a holy place, a holy shrine. That Prayaga is far away. In those days, you had to travel miles and miles to go to that Prayaga to take a dip in the Ganges, in the confluence, and whether you make it there or God knows those days, and you make it whether you come back or not, also don't know, nobody knows. Here that Prayaga comes to you. So in what way is the saint a mobile Prayaga or confluence? Because there is Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, all the 3 are there in saints. Where according to Tulsidas, Saraswati stands for knowledge, Yamuna stands for karma or the action, and Ganga stands for bhakti or devotion. So they are the saintly people, and we find confluence of all of this. That their actions also are sat karma. You see them performing good actions. Actions of contribution we find in their hearts. So as far as the activity is concerned, they are contributors. As far as heart is concerned, they are devotees of Ishvara. As far as intellect is concerned, they have the knowledge of the scriptures. So all the 3 levels, karma, bhakti and jnanam. We find manifestation of this in saintly people. And thus we can that influence, a positive influence that affects us also in all aspects of our life. So elsewhere, Shankaracharya says, Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. Satsangatve Nissangatvam. When satsanga is there, when there is attachment to sat, then there is detachment to asat. So attachment, create attachment for sat. Where sat stands for Ishvara, stands for scriptures, stands for holy people. Sat includes all of that. Create attachment for that. So there will be detachment from the world. Satsangatve Nissangatvam. Therefore, satsanga is very, very important. At the same time, not only we should deliberately court the association of the good people, we should also deliberately avoid the association of the evil people who can create a negative influence on us. That should be given up also. Sangha satsu vidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktir drudhadhiyatam. Bhagavataha bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. Drudha adhiyata, make your devotion for Bhagavan or Ishvara firm. Make the devotion firm. What is firm devotion? That which does not get shaken up under any circumstances. We all have devotion for Bhagavan, for Ishvara, in one measure or the other. It's conditional devotion. As long as Bhagavan also does what I want him to do, as long as he fulfills my desires, so long he remains in my good books. And when he stops obliging me and doesn't listen to me, then Bhagavan also can become an object of my anger. And somebody in Ahmedabad was having puja for 25 years, some tragic event happened in the family, he took this Bhagavan and, what? I've been worshipping for 25, this is what you do for me? Out. Bhagavan was out. I mean, I can understand the anger and hurt in there and pain. But what I'm saying is that right now our devotion is conditional devotion. And also in the words of Puja Swami, are part-time devotees. In the morning at 6 o'clock we are devotees and chant Rudram and this and Purushottam, it goes on, for 1 hour, our devotees of Bhagavan, which is great. Then comes breakfast, then this remains here, Bhagavan remains here, and the other things take over for the rest of the time. Evening again, maybe half an hour for another devotion may come. Spurts of devotion. So we are part-time devotees when the spurts of devotion come. And the rest of the time, we are what we are. So like there are compartments in life, a compartment for Bhagavan and a compartment for the world. When the world is, Bhagavan is not there. When Bhagavan is, world can be there in the mind. But when the world is, Bhagavan is gone. That's what it is. So bhakti is there all right, but not dhrida, not a firm, unswerving devotion is not there. The devotion should be made unswerving. So you can see this is a typical text of Vedanta. And they think that the Vedanta has nothing to do with bhakti. But here bhakti is presented as a means of knowledge. Without bhakti of Ishvara, there could not. Ultimately, we want knowledge of Ishvara. So we must have bhakti for that which we want to know. Without bhakti, you can never know. Even a scientist also, when he is investigating something, is totally devoted to that. Bhakti means a commitment or devotion. He is devoted to his work at the exclusion of all other activities. Is it not so? Similarly, if you want to know Bhagavan, then our mind must be totally focused on that at the exclusion of other things. That's called bhakti. So become, in Swamiji's words, become full-time devotees. So how do we do that? For that, do some special actions which are conducive to making our devotion firm. Here by bhakti is meant special actions of worship that are performed. We yesterday also talked about worship during Karma Yoga, of performing actions and offering to Lord, receiving results also as his prasada. Bhakti is there. So this person is a bhakta, but we want to make this bhakti firm. And therefore, now deliberate undertake special actions which are conducive for making this bhakti firm. Ramana Maharshi says, Pujanam japa chintanam kramat. At the level of what? Kaya vang manah karyamuttamam pujanam japas chintanam kramat. At the level of kaya, vani and manah, the level of limbs of the body, speech and mind, may you offer all these three organs to Ishvara. engage them in the worship of Ishvara. How to engage your limbs? By performing puja, making offerings, like offering flowers and so Shodasopachara puja or any number of upachara. So many different steps are there in puja. Dhyanam, meditation, avahanam, welcoming him, asanam, offering the seat to Ishtadevata. So this is where the concept Ishtadevata becomes very useful, your personal deity. So this is the great, I would say, the uniqueness of Hindu Dharma, which provides us what we call Murti Puja, or worshipping Ishvara in a form, which is something which is ridiculed by all other religions, but which is in fact the greatest contribution of this religion. And the greatest advantage that Hindus have is that there is Murti Puja in our life. Poor Hindus always feel defensive. Hey, you are idol worshippers. No, we are not idol worshippers. We are also like you. Why should I be like you? I am myself. I am an idol worshipper. I worship idols. Meaning I worship Ishvara in idol. I have no shame in accepting that. Worshipping our Swami is nobody worships stone. Everybody worships Ishvara. So when you are pouring water over the Shivalinga, it's not over stone that you are pouring water. You are giving bath to Lord Shiva in your mind. So this personal Devat, meaning that bringing Ishvara right at your home and all right in front of you in that form and name, is in fact a very unique way of relating to Ishvara, that everybody has a personal relationship with Ishvara. But you relate to him as your father, as your mother, as your child, as your friend, as your master, as whatever way you can relate. In bhakti, it is important to establish a relationship. So we have the form or even a picture or whatever in front of us. Sometimes even a geometrical figure, yantra is there, mantra is there, tantra is there, many ways of worshipping are there. It's a very rich tradition. So many kinds of worships are there. Depending upon people's disposition, their likes and their preferences, you can choose one or the other things. Somebody wants to look upon Ishvara as father, Lord Shiva is your father. Mother and Durga is your mother. Child and Lord Krishna is your child. Master, Lord Rama is your master. And like that you can relate to Bhagavan as you want, depending upon the need of your heart. And so it is possible to invoke a devotee. The idea is that when I am in presence of the Ishtadevata, it enables me to invoke the devotee from within me. Most important is who performs the puja? The devotee performs the puja. For that, you invoke a devotee from within you, and just as in presence of my mother, the son in me automatically gets invoked. In presence of my brother, a brother or sister gets invoked. So also in presence of my Ishtadevata, a devotee gets invoked. And the devotee performs that puja. So that puja enables me to maintain the attitude of being a devotee. So I want to become a devotee, long-term devotee, a full-time devotee. Therefore, I deliberately perform those actions which are conducive to invoking a devotee from me. So pujanam. Our Swami, though lately he used to emphasize puja more than anything else. Perform puja. Something, So people also, but that was quite interesting in the way. So pujanam japaha. Second level of offering is at the level of speech. Where this morning as I was reciting Rudram and Purusha Suktam and so chanting, like last night, Kirtanam, chanting stotras, hymns, just name of Lord, at the level of speech and mentally. What you do at speech level, you can do mentally also. Recite those things mentally, or do mental japa, or perform meditation. Mental worship. Pujanam, japaha, chintanam, to transform myself from a part-time devotee to a full-time devotee. A brilliant story about Swamiji, you all heard how the transformation takes place. Our Swamiji many years ago was a brahmachari living in Bangalore, working on this Tyagi, this magazine, and he was living in some place in Bangalore, I think. And a part-time cook used to come and cook for Swamiji. And this cook was very fond of singing, so when he's cooking, he's singing also. So one day somebody was eating our Swamiji, and he was not Swamiji at that time, but Swamiji, and who is singing? Our cook is singing. And Swamiji found that this fellow really sings well. And so Swamiji arranged for him to get music lessons from from a famous musician. And he was a talented person, this cook. And in a short time, he really gained a mastery, became an accomplished singer. And started giving public performances, recitals. Now he is a big man. But in course of his traveling, once he was visiting Bangalore, and he came to our Swamiji, old Swamiji. How are you, Swami? This, that, and how come specially, Swami, to meet you, have your darshan? At the same time, to cook something that you like, He knew what Swami likes, bisi beda, something or XYZ, something. So he goes and then starts cooking, offers, and singing as before. So the fragrance, or what do you call was wafting from the kitchen of this the dish that was being cooked, and somebody was visiting Swami. Who is cooking? That famous singer is cooking. Formerly, the cook was singing. Now the singer is cooking, meaning the cook is changed into a singer. So formerly, the Swami was worshipping. Now the devotee, so you transform yourself into a devotee. This is called transformation. From part-time singer, became full-time singer. Part-time devotee, become full-time devotee. Bhagavato bhaktir dhrudha dhiyatam. Now, next is to make sure that your bhakti is dhrudha, firm devotion, unswerving devotion. You know why? Because then only you get the favor of Ishvara. When you please somebody, then you receive the favor. Because you can know Ishvara provided Ishvara or Bhagavan becomes favorable to us and he reveals himself to us, then only we can know. Otherwise there is no way of knowing. Understand, knowledge always takes place. You don't know, knowledge takes place. Even when Newton, in his mind, the idea of this law of gravity must have flashed, it flashed in his mind. All he did was to meditate upon what he must have contemplated a long time, years together, and then an insight came. So knowledge always takes place. Meaning that law of gravity should reveal itself in the mind of Newton, then only he can know. What Newton should do is to prepare his mind to tune up with that law of gravity. Similarly, for Ishvara, for us to know Ishvara, he has to reveal himself in our mind. And for that, I must tune up myself to him. That's called bhakti. So, in all this pursuit, there cannot be a spiritual pursuit without Ishvara. We don't believe in that. There can be secular spirituality and stuff like that. I don't believe in God and still I'm a spiritual person. You may be. At least you may have a notion that you are a spiritual person. For a very simple reason, that as we've been discussing since yesterday, it is not easy to follow these values. Not easy at all. It's not easy to be honest. Not easy to be truthful. Not easy to be worshipful. It extracts a lot out of you, and all along you require help because you are weak. you fall to temptations, always need help from Ishvara. Without grace of Ishvara, nothing can be done. And therefore, all along, Ishvara must be there in our life. So our Swami is bringing Ishvara into our life. So Karma Yogi also brings Ishvara into his life. And this Bhakta, of course, brings Ishvara into his life. So that Ishvara becomes favorable. Bhagavan should become favorable, then only knowledge can take place. Therefore, Bhagavataha Bhaktir Dhanadhiyatam. Bhagavan whom you want to know. One whom you want to know, you must get his favor. For his favor, you must have devotion. This is all done. Then Shantyadi Parichiyadam. Next one says. So the first part of second line says Shantyadi Parichiyadam. Shanti Adi becomes Shantyadi. Shanti means peace, tranquility. So Shanti or tranquility is a state of mind. Parichiyatam. May you practice, may you cultivate tranquility of the mind. Adi. So Vedanta talks about the fourfold qualification for a seeker of knowledge. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampattihi. The fourfold qualification. Some of you may have heard about it. Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shatka Sampattihi, Mumukshutvam. Viveka, discrimination, which we discussed yesterday, because of which now the value for self-knowledge arises. That is the result of Viveka, or being objective, being discriminating, understanding the realities of life. From that Vairagya, leave your home, meaning that become free from attachments, that is Vairagya. Third is Samadhi Shadka Sampattihi, the sixfold inner wealth beginning from Shama or tranquility of the mind. So those who study Tattva Bodha, etc., they know, or Viveka Chudamani, Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. We are told to cultivate the sixfold inner wealth. Both are all of these are nothing but the dispositions of mind. Shama means tranquility of the mind. We should have tranquility of mind. Dhamma means a mastery over sense organs, a mastery over actions. Shama means mastery over the mind, and Dhamma means mastery over the actions. Uparama is the inwardness of the mind. Mind becomes naturally inward looking, naturally abiding in the self. Uparama. Titiksha means forbearance, meaning that the ability to put up with pain. Titiksha. Shraddha, having Shraddha or faith or implicit faith in the words of teacher and scriptures. Samadhanam, the concentration or focus of the mind. So others will come. We will look upon, we will remind you of these as they come in this text itself. But right now, what we are told is Shantyadi. So this includes Shama and Dhamma. May you deliberately cultivate this quality is called Shama and Dhamma. Shama means Shanti. The word Shanti and Shama are derived from the same root. Sham means peace or tranquility. Let there be value for tranquility of the mind. Let there be value for peace of mind. You should make all the efforts to make your mind free from distractions, free from agitations. Everybody wants it. So, who doesn't want peace of mind? So, how to get peace of mind, Swamiji? How do we cultivate peace of mind? By understanding the mind. Why does the mind get agitated? Why does it get agitated? Or why does it get distracted? Either mind gets distracted, runs away from me, or even when it is with me, it gets agitated and all kinds of stuff is going on inside. Resentment is there, anger is there, jealousies are there. So the mind is agitated. Or mind gets distracted and thinks of something else. I'm sitting here and mind is someplace else. Not an uncommon thing that we are here in the class and the mind is perhaps in Pennsylvania or Detroit or someplace. Possible. So tranquility of the mind, shanti. By understanding the mind, by sympathetically understanding the mind. Let us not fight with the mind, but let us sympathetically understand what the difficulties of the mind are. Mind also loves tranquility, mind also loves peace, mind also does not like agitation. But then there is agitation in the mind, shows helplessness of the mind. Mind also doesn't want this to be distracted, shows helplessness of the mind. Meaning that mind is seeking our help. When the mind is worried, mind is anxious, mind is angry, mind is agitated, mind is distracted, like a child, it is seeking our attention and seeking our help. We start fighting with the mind, though you don't have to. And understand the mind. What is bothering the mind? Swami, I am very angry. So let us, so to understand these distracting or agitating attitudes of the mind. Anger, when it comes, mind gets agitated. Jealousy, mind gets agitated. Frustration, mind gets agitated. Disappointment, mind gets agitated, naturally. Attachment, mind gets distracted. Aversion, mind gets distracted. So first of all, understanding the mind, which Vedanta explains, by the way. Vedanta spends a lot of time and energy in focusing attention on the mind and understanding the mind. Formerly our Swami used to say that Bhagavad Gita is all that is necessary to provide the psychological treatment to our mind. But then that requires us to also have a certain kind of an ability to be able to be objective with the mind. Otherwise, we have to go to a therapist, and further we have to go to a psychiatrist. It depends on the state of things. But if we are what we call normally normal, so Vedanta is meant for normal people. In normal people also a lot of abnormalities are there, but normal people. Those of us who enjoy a reasonable amount of ability to create distance with the mind. That we can objectively look at our mind and try to understand what it is that is bothering the mind. What is the reason why the mind is behaving the way it is? So, and we have to use what we call pratipaksha bhavana. The reason why mind is angry or jealous or disturbed in some way or the other is because mind has its own way of looking at things. It looks at a person and it looks at a person as the person who has offended him, who has hurt him, and therefore he deserves my retaliation, my anger. And so it is my perception of person that causes anger in me towards that person. But Swamiji, look at the way he behaves. What else? But that is my perception. Oh, he has insulted me. That's my perception. He said something. Insult is my interpretation. But he used bad words. He used bad words, but that means that insult is my interpretation. I don't have to interpret. He said something. Full stop. He used bad words. Full stop. No, he told me something. Full stop. But what happens is we sympathize with what they say. Idiot, suppose when he says, all right. If I say that is his opinion, well and good. No, he's an idiot. So why do I get upset? Because I also start resonating with him. Yes, I'm an idiot. Our Swami used to say, four fellows are walking away. You call them, Sridhar, Sridhar looks back. Karthik looks back. Narayan looks back. Idiot, all the four look back, he says, Because that's the kind of esteem that we have ourselves. So when somebody says idiot to me, I immediately resonate. So he says idiot, then I say idiot to myself, and then I feel like an idiot, and I feel hurt. He says idiot, okay, he said that. Let it be there. Let it remain where it is. It is his opinion. I don't want to make it my opinion. You follow? What we do is habitually make their opinion our opinions, and then we suffer. You don't know a word of English. Thank you. Suppose somebody, Swami, you can't even spell your name. Nobody else can spell my name, but I can spell my name. Wherever I go, first thing is to spell the name, and then I have to B-I-D-T-M, and by the time it goes out of computer also. Especially for Swami, he gave a name that nobody else can repeat and nobody else can give also. Because everybody says he should have a unique name. He thought that if his disciple becomes famous, then there should not be anybody like that. His own name is Dayananda, which there are so many Dayanandas are there. So you don't know which Dayananda they are talking about. Viditatmananda, there will be nobody else. So everybody knows this is Viditatmananda. Pratyak Bodhananda, Shuddha Bodhananda, Siddha Bodhananda. Nobody like that, and therefore, so that is how all these names nobody can pronounce. Our own people who know us for years together also, they start with V, by the time they come to Ananda, something happens in between, But I become very tolerant and very, sympathetic towards them also. Otherwise, you feel hurt. You don't even pronounce my name properly. What is this? He can't help it, your name is like that. Why did you look at me? Because your face is like that. What can you do? Somehow inspire people to look at me in a certain way, maybe. But the thing is that we understand why anger is my choice. Understand? To behave in a certain way is somebody's choice. Anger is a reaction where I have a choice not to react. Jealousy is a reaction, I have a choice not to react. They're all reactions. Where there is a choice not to do that, if I'm alert, I create a distance, bring my right value, and then I do not react. So this is how we have to become alert. Understand the mind, create a distance, and extricate ourselves from the habitual influence of other people's behavior, etc. So anyway, the means tranquility of the mind means that deliberately making the mind free from the habit of reacting. It has become a habit to react. What is reaction? Where no deliberate thinking is involved. The response that I give without any deliberate thinking, without any reason, without thinking of consequences, that response is called a reaction. And so we have to learn to act, become alert. And action can be wrong, but at least I know why I did it, then I can change it next time. So tranquility of the mind is an important value. Shama, Dama, mastery over one's behavior. We are mechanical. That's another problem is mechanicalness. One problem is agitation of the mind. Second is mechanicalness of the mind. Mechanical thinking, mechanical behavior. Meaning that we do not pay attention to many things that we do. Things just happen. A shower happens. Brushing happens. Even eating happens. Going to work happens. Things happen. Then I realize, did I brush my teeth or not? Did I take shower really? Did I do this? Then I see this thing, I think I have done it all right. So, no attentiveness at all in a lot of things that we do. So a lot of our behavior become mechanical, where we require to be alert. So alertness to overcome mechanicalness, and alertness also to overcome reaction, which is another or impulsiveness. Impulsiveness of the mind and mechanicalness of the mind. These are the two problems which make the mind distracted, make the mind react. And so, Shantyadhi Parichiyatam. May you deliberately cultivate this quality of Shama and Dama. Master our mind and master over your behavior. Okay, we'll continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
So we'll have a break right now until